G'day everyone, Cindy from the Post and Rail, and I'm so excited to share with you how I make my granola. And I was just about to bake a batch for ourselves at home because we are out at the moment, and we bought another brand that looked really nice, and it was so salty and sweet that it was horrible. And so I went, right, got to get my skates on and make another batch. It's actually so simple, I feel guilty for buying it. So love to share with you today. And look, don't get crazy on the measuring, okay? It's just stuff in a bowl. And the best part is it's stuff that is lying around in your cupboard. So most of it is, this makes a really big batch, by the way. So most of it is oats. So I'm actually just going to tip in a whole heap. I'm guessing that's about 4 cups of oats. You can either use quick oats or the whole oats, or both. I find it a really good exercise to just use up whatever is in the cupboard and not overthink that. So I like to do big things. So oats are big, and sunflower seeds, pumpkin kernels are big. Then sometimes I get a seed mix. And so these are like part packets of things. I just add a bit of everything. This has got like pepitas, sunflower. So some of what I already put in, and another thing. Flaked almonds, that's a big thing, as in it's a large textured thing. Good. I use up a packet. It's so exciting. I have little part packets everywhere. Look, I found a packet of walnuts with about 7 walnuts in it. So, yay, that's going in. The thing that ties it together is something fine grained with something large grained. So I either use, I don't need that. Psyllium husks. No, I don't. No psyllium husks. But I just found about 4 open bags in my cupboard. So obviously I've been deathly afraid of running out of psyllium husks. I'm actually using almond meal, but I love LSA. So that's linseed, sesame and almond. And I think I found, oh, look at that teeny tiny bag there. So I'm going to use up the last of that. So once again, not measuring. The only thing I guess I am measuring is that I want to end up with about 2/3 of this big bowl full, and that way I'll know I'll have made enough granola to fill up my big jar, which lasts us about a month because we all love it so much. Now, the one mistake I made one time was putting in dried fruit into the granola, because this gets baked, not for long, but it does get baked. And what happened was the already perfectly dried fruit got baked and was so hard to chew you could break your teeth off in it. So, okay, lesson learnt, you put that in at the end. Let's see, what else have I got? So almond meal, I might just put a bit more almond meal. I do love, the thing about the little textured thing and the big textured thing is once you add olive oil and some honey to it, it will clump together and find that, you know, that beautiful granola clumps that you get. So if you just had all big things, it would stay open and not join together. But if you put little and big together, it's like an aggregate. So I'm going to pop the oven on because this comes together so quick. Oven is on. I also like to melt the honey a little bit because I need the honey to be fluid rather than thick and sticky. Otherwise you end up adding too much. Now, as to the amount of olive oil, good question. I've got this gorgeous, look at this pretty thing here. It might look like there's a lot coming out, but trust me, this nozzle is tiny. So it's going to be about 1/2 cup of olive oil and 1/3 of a cup of honey to this whole big batch. And I feel like if I want to make more, that's about 1/2 cup. I'm just going to add, I feel like we're not quite there in the size. Plenty. So oats is basically your filler, and we are there in my bowl. So getting pretty big. I'm just going to get some honey. And actually this happens while the paddle's going on the mixer. So I'm just going to get this going. So I put my flat blade on and let it turn and do its thing. That's basically going to do any mixing that I was going to have to do. So I know it's lazy, but it's there already plugged in, ready to go. So why wouldn't I? So I'm just letting the olive oil incorporate, and we are looking for damp sand. And I'm just going to squirt in some honey, which could totally be maple syrup or whatever liquid sweet thing that you like. I'm just trying to keep everything on the natural made products here. Tiny bit more. That is looking good. Maybe a bit more olive oil. So what I want to encourage you to do is not measure. Just chuck all these sort of things in, as long as it's got a little bit of sweetness in there and something to toast. And on that note, my granola improved greatly when I swapped from canola oil, what was the other one? Sunflower oil, vegetable oil. I found it didn't last more than 3 weeks before it started tasting rancid. And olive oil tastes great for ages. It does not go rancid in the toasting process. So very happy with that. No, tiny bit more honey. This is a very big batch. There we go. And I've still only used, it would still only be half a cup. That's better. And you can see it starting to clump in here now, and I'll come and show you. Smells great. So here's all my mix. And there's just a little bit of clumping going on, meaning there's enough moisture in there from the olive oil and the honey to start getting clumps. Now feel free to tweak this whatever you like. Add in whatever seeds, nuts, maybe not pine nuts, but any of the other nuts, hazelnuts, whatever packets of stuff you've got lying around. Because it gets toasted in the oven, it's basically refreshing it again, so you're going to love it. Now here's how I do it. This next bit, I have 3 baking trays. I used to do it in one baking tray and just flip it all the time. And because I line them with baking paper, I don't actually have to wash the trays afterwards. So, and it happens in heaps quicker time. So I just dibble out 1/3 of each. Yeah, you can see mostly that. And then I sort of spread it to the edges. Oh, and I can feel it's a little bit sticky. So I've used quinoa flakes with these if you have to go without the oats, because the rest of it's pretty much gluten-free. But now it's going to go in my oven for 15 minutes. It will take, it will only take 15 minutes. The oven's at 180. So I might give it one little zhuzh flip around and then give it another few minutes. Then I add the dried fruit. Don't do what I did. It's very hard on the teeth. So I'll just pop this in the oven. Gently bung it in the oven. Well, and the good news is there are 5 part packets of things that I don't need to put back in the cupboard. They can go in the bin. Excellent. See you in a bit. We're back and the house smells amazing. It smells like honey and delicious flavors and nuts, and just thought I'd come and show you up close what this looks like. It looks so good. So we've got clumps. It's toasty. I mean, yeah, it's nice. There's a beautiful little bit of burnish there, which I encourage. One, because olive oil toasts at a low temperature, and secondly, honey also toasts at a low temperature. So you get this beautiful kind of burnish flavor. Never burnt at my house, always burnish, but that's where the flavor's at. So that's like adding an extra layer to just raw cereal, which is uninteresting, to say the least. So I'm just going to let these cool down now, and when they're cool, this is how I get it into the jar without making any mess. I grab the 4 ends and then I tilt, and then there's no dishes, and I can go do other stuff because I'm busy. See you later.